Hey, what's up again, guys? Coming live from the PS5. You already know what it is. Real quick, I just wanted to show you guys my universe mode setup for WWE 2K24. I feel like I see a lot of people asking, like, how do you use universe mode? It can be a little overwhelming. So I just wanted to show you real quick my setup that I'm going to be doing. So for the last couple of WWE 2K games, I've been trying to stick with one universe mode that I stick through for like a whole year. And I've gotten some success doing this. So this is what I'm going to be doing for 2K24. So I've downloaded the DPW arena, Deadlock Pro Wrestling arena from his Twitter name is Real Ghost Dev. Real Ghost Dev, DEV. And you could just search for Ghost on Community Creations, and he has an awesome indie arena for Deadlock Pro Wrestling. So I'm going to be running like an Indy Universe mode for 2K24. So what I've done basically is I've just picked 40 wrestlers, so 32 male wrestlers and 8 women wrestlers. And what I'm going to do in order to make it fun and make sure that I stick with it is I'm actually creating tournaments for the initial champions. And the way I do this is pretty simple. I use a website called brackethq.com. I'll put it in the description, but basically what you do there is you get to make these brackets for your wrestlers. You just got to type in the names of the wrestlers you're using, and then it automatically makes a bracket, which is pretty fitting right now because of March Madness and everything. So I figured I would do this for my universe and make a little March Madness of wrestlers. So I picked 40. So what I kind of limited myself to was picking 40 wrestlers who have never been world champion in any of the major promotions, at least for the men. For the women, I did select one woman who has been a world champion. But basically, if you go to, so what I've done to initially start off before I even do anything is I erase the shows that are on. So I erase Raw, I erase NXT, and I erase SmackDown. Before I did that, I did create the show here so that I wouldn't miss a week. And the reason I do that is because I like having the 4 consistent episodes each week, just because it makes the universe mode work a little better, especially if you have a pay-per-view at the end here. So once you have this set up and you have your show, you then could go into edit it, and you'll see your participants, the number of matches, the match table, champions, divisions. So for, like I said, I did pick 40 wrestlers here. You could look to see here. Basically a mixture of created wrestlers from the community creations as well as like underutilized or younger wrestlers in WWE, and people that I would think would fit and make sense to the indies as for Deadlock Pro Wrestling. And I kind of like to think about it as like I'm the booker, and who would I be able to afford if I was an independent wrestling company, right? So I can't get someone like a Kevin Owens or a CM Punk, for example, or, you know, Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins. So you got to go a little bit below those guys. So I chose some wrestlers who probably would make sense going back to the indies or have done some time in the indies themselves before they made it to the big stage, and they just haven't won a world title yet. So if you go into championships, these are the championships I'll be using. So it's the world champion, the women's champion, the tag team championship, and the national championship. And these are all downloaded from community creations as well. If you go into divisions, I put every single male wrestler in the world title slot, and I'll tell you why in a second. So you can see there's 32 wrestlers here. And then for women, every single woman is in the women's championship spot. And these are the 8 women I've chosen. So it's Athena, which is these are most of them are community creations. The only one that isn't is Candice LeRae. So it's Athena, Jordan Grace from Impact, Kiera Hogan from AEW, Sky Blue from AEW, Stephanie Vaquer, who is currently the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, as well as the CMLL Women's Champion. Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale, and Candice LeRae. And then for the men, I have Ilya, Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, Tyler Bate, Wesley, Gunther, Dijak, Andrade, Brian Cage, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, Vikingo, Ethan Page, Jack Perry, Jonathan Gresham, Keith Lee, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Lee Moriarty, Mark Briscoe, Mascara Dorada from CMLL, Mustafa Ali, Nick Wayne, Pac, Sammy Guevara, Swerve Strickland, Zack Sabre Jr., Butch, Ricochet, and Chad Gable. I see I got a comment here. Hold on. Can't see your full comment. Let me check real quick. But yeah. So the reason why I've done this so far is that I'm going to be doing tournaments in my universe mode. And this is how I've done it before. So I do 32 wrestlers. I have singles matches to start off. So there'll be 16 singles matches within the 32 competitors. And the first round, whoever loses, they automatically get put into my tag team division. And that's how I set it up myself. So there'll never be a tag team starting off. This is just a fun way that I found to make universe mode a little more fun and interactive, and make sure that you play some matchups that you wouldn't do before, some weird matchups, things like that. And then you get some fun, weird tag teams that you create. So it's pretty cool. Let me see. What was the comment? Something about the divisions. Let me check it out. The division ranking worked good. Yeah, they work great. So basically, if you are in one of these divisions, you will not compete for the other titles in universe mode. Universe mode won't set you up to compete for the other titles. So they usually try to keep the competitors within those divisions as well. So just so you know, the way I set up my universe mode is a little different from most, because I like having it a little more interactive and fun. I like playing all the matches and things like that. So I do start off with just these 32 wrestlers, and then I set up number of matches I set up as 9. And the reason I do this is because I want to have 8 singles matches for the men's in the first week, 1 women's match, and then another 8 singles matches in the next week, and another 1 women's match. And then that brings me to the first round is done of my tournament. And I, like I said earlier in the stream, I use a website called Bracket HQ, and it lets you build out these brackets, and you then could kind of play through the bracket, because you can't really do a tournament mode in universe mode, which sucks because there is tournament and exhibition. So I do it this way. So I've set up the first week of what I would be doing for my matches. So here is the first 9 matches that I would be doing for my universe mode. So basically it would be Swerve versus Mark Briscoe, Jonathan Gresham versus Butch, Darby Allin versus Mascara Dorada 2.0, Brian Cage versus Claudio Castagnoli, Athena versus Candice LeRae, Pac versus Lee Moriarty, Andrade versus Santos Escobar, Chad Gable versus Kyle Fletcher, and Nick Wayne versus Gunther. And what I do as well, before I even do any of this, I go into the universe mode, I turn off automatic rivalries. And the reason I do this is because if you leave this on, it's going to set up 4 rivalries off the bat for you per show. But if you turn this off, then you could then use rivalries in any type of match you want. So you could start setting up those rivalry things, in those rivalry actions in any match. So for example, if I go in here, I could set up a rival. You see the press R3. You could do this for any match you want. So you could technically have 9 rivalries going on at once, and the universe mode will remember it. It just won't show up in the rivalry section in the roster. When you check on the rivalries, you'll see that it'll have, so the rivalries won't be here at all, but you'll see that you'll have the little R next to your wrestler, and you'll just continue the rivalry, and then you'll see the matches kind of continuing until they finish the rivalry, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of a way to get around having just 4 rivalries. And then also what you could do is if you want to have set rivalries, you could do 3 and then leave 1 open, and then that will let you still use those rivalry actions for any match. So if you want to do like an interference or a call out during one of the matches, you could do that. You just click into with R3, and now you could just do any of these actions. So you could do attack, you could do ambush, disrespect, any of these things that you want to do to start off a rivalry, you could do it. And it doesn't limit you to just 4. You could have as many as you want. It kind of makes the game a little more fun. I also turn off rivalries because I want to get through this tournament first. And then once I'm done with the tournament, I could then start the rivalries and all that. So, like I said before, I do start off with 32 male wrestlers and 8 female wrestlers. And then what I do is a tournament of singles matches. So the first 16 matches go on. The first 16 losers then become my tag team division. So I get the fun choice of creating fun new tag teams that we've never seen before. Some of the tag teams I've had in other games were something like Jay White and Malachi Black. So I called them Black and White, something like that. Or I had Jonathan Gresham and Keith Lee. So I called them Pure Glory because Gresham's a pure wrestler and then Keith Lee is Glory, so something like that. Cool things like that. I had Johnny Gargano and John Moxley. I called them Ohio Combat Club because they're both from Ohio. So things like that, like just fun little tag teams that you wouldn't think of. And then you kind of get to create your own real universe mode instead of just working through what's going on WWE television or AEW television. I just find it more fun that way, and you kind of become the actual booker of your show, which is fun. So then once you have that first round completed, those 16 wrestlers become your tag team, and you could then start a 8-man tag division with those. So then you have an 8-man tag division. You could start a tournament with those guys. And once you have that, you have another tournament to go through. So basically the way I do universe mode is just playing through a bunch of tournaments, basically. So I really use this website, brackethq.com, and that really helps. And then once I go through the first round of the world title tournament, the second round, you have 16 competitors left. And the next 8 people that lose in that tournament become my mid-title division. So then you have a new division there. You have 8 wrestlers there. And then your final 8 is the world title division. So that's why I choose 40 wrestlers. And I usually choose 4 belts to start off with, because it kind of makes it less overwhelming. You end up with about 8 wrestlers per division instead of having like this huge list of like 17, 20. And then you don't get to play as that many of your wrestlers anyway, and you kind of are trying to, it's kind of the problem that like AEW or WWE has at the moment, where they have such a big roster that you can't use everybody at once, so people get frustrated. So I kind of like thinking about it that way. Like, I am the booker, I want to make sure everybody gets used. So when it comes to the divisions, at the end of the day, you'll have 4 divisions and you'll have 40 wrestlers. So you could make it so that there's 8 wrestlers in the World Championship Division. There's 8 wrestlers in the Women's Championship Division. There's 8 tag teams in the tag division, so that makes it 16. And then there's 8 wrestlers in the National Championship, so the IC Championship or the US Championship Division, the mid-card title. And then you have a pretty nice set roster. So, for example, right here would be 8 of these wrestlers. Whoever ends up in the final round, the final 8, then goes into this. The final 8 for the women obviously would be here, and then the final 8 tag teams would be here, and then the final 8 mid-card people would be here. And I think that's pretty cool. I think I haven't seen anyone else do this before, and I just wanted to show that off because I feel like a lot of people always get overwhelmed with the universe mode. But if you kind of do it yourself and make whatever you can out of it, I think that's the best part. Don't follow like what's going on Raw. Don't follow what's going on AEW. Like, that's cool too. I've done universe mode like that before too, or I've done universe modes where I try to like rebook what happens. But no, I like doing it like kind of doing my own thing and pretending that I am the actual booker. I'm the Tony Khan or I'm the Triple H of this universe, and what would I do? And for me, I think running tournaments until you get that champion, and then once you do have the champion, now you have all this lore in your universe mode. Like, oh, let's say for example, Swerve beats Mark Briscoe in this first round match. Now we have this lore, like, does Mark Briscoe become a heel because he lost in the first round? Does he hate Swerve? Like, things like that. You can start building things in your head and even building rivalries based on things like that. So it's cool stuff. I just wanted to show you guys real quick what I do and what I like to do. And let me know if you guys are going to follow along and try your own way and do this as well. I see my boy right here, 305. Shout out to Miami 305. Yeah, I see he says he's gonna try it out. Cool, man. Try it out. See if you like it. Let me know what you think. And make sure you like and subscribe and comment on all that stuff. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with this universe mode, like how I have it right here. This is my first round matchups. And then we're gonna see. We're gonna see if I like it or not. Maybe I'll stick around and keep showing you guys as we go along, but for now I'll probably play a couple matches myself, and then maybe I'll do like the final rounds of the tournament when we get closer to it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good night. Peace.